Hello, this is Kiatrik, and I'm going in this video to show you how to import animations within Construct 3 and set the events so that we can control a character in its various states and display the according animation. We start within Construct 3 on our start page. We go into the templates and look for the platformer template. Open project, and here we have the basic platformer template. We click on the background layer to lock it, so we are sure to have selected our game layer, and we can double click to add an object sprite that we are going to name player anim. It's going to contain the animations. We position it, and now we have the animation editor where we can add our frames. We do have the animation panel to the right that is going to contain our various animations, and at the bottom the animation frames panel that is going to contain all the frames for the selected animation. To import, we have two ways we can do. So go into the animations frame panel, right click, import frames from files. It opens up the Windows Explorer dialog. We go into our pack, which is a pack of characters. We are going to be using the plant robot. We go into the PNG folder. Within it, there are several folders. The numbers are the actual frames height. For each animation, we are going to use the 64. And within, we do have all the frames for all the various animations. It contains the name of the character, the action, crouch, for example, in our first one, and the number of the frames starting at 0. The first animation that we will want to add is going to be the walk animation. It starts at C3 plant robot walk 000. I hold down the shift key on my keyboard, and then I can select the last frame, 20, and all the frames are selected, and I can click open to open it. I still have my first frame, I select it, delete it, and now I do have the walk animation and only its frames. I select the animation, I can rename it, and we will rename it to walk. The speed is the number of frames that are being displayed in a second. I'm going to make it 24, and I'm going to click on loop, so the animation just goes on and on and on and on as it is playing. I can right click on the animation and preview it, and here I see my smooth walking animation. Now I have more animations I want to add. We will want to set our jump animation and our fall animation. I can right click in the animations panel and add a new animation, and this time I'm going to show you by using the actual Windows Explorer. Go into the same folder, and we are going to be adding an idle animation. Select the frames, this one goes up to 35, shift key, and since it's from the Windows Explorer, I hold down my left mouse button, drag the animation frames, and drop them within the animation frames panel. Again, the first frame I select and delete, and modify the animations property. Idle, 24, and this one is going to loop as well. Now, again, add an animation from files. I will want to add the jump, and within this folder, it's not the jump animation that I am interested in, it is the jump start, which really is the beginning of our jump. I hold down the Control key and select frames by frames, because there are only 5 of them, and I click Open. Delete the first frame, modify the name, jump 24, but this time I don't want it to be looping. My jump animation being only a few frames, I will want, once it's finished, to play a different animation. So add a new animation, add frames, and this time I'm going to use the actual jump frames that are being provided instead of just jump start. I've actually dropped them. Delete the first frame, rename, ascend, 24, and this one is going to be looping. And the last animation is going to be the fall animation. Again, selecting only a few frames, because this is a small animation. Open. Modify the properties. Fall 24. Not looping. We are good with the import of the animations. Now I also need to modify the origin point for all the frames of the animations. It does the job and it works there because all the animation frames are the same size and the same setup. So I will apply the animation object over the player object, and the player object has its origin point at the bottom. Nevertheless, as you can possibly see, let's zoom a bit, Control key and use the mouse wheel. There is a little gap, and our character would be on top, would be above the ground for a few pixels. So I will simply remove 2 pixels, right click on origin and apply to all animations. And now you can see that any animation and any frame I'm going to look at, the point is at the same location, and it will give the visual aspect we want. We are done with the animation editor, so we can click on close. We do have our player anim object. We are going to add a behavior to it, the pin behavior, because we will want to pin it over the player object. Our player object is initially visible. We will want to set it to be not visible. That's still the object that we are going to control as in the template, but it won't be visually seen. And also we are going to add an instance variable named di for direction. It's going to be 0 or 1, and it will allow us to mirror or not mirror our animation. So now we are set up. We can go into the event sheets. The first thing is to add a system event on start of layout. And on start of layout, I want to set the position of the player anim object to the one of the player object. I also do want for the player anim object to be pinned to the player object. Now move it on top, just for visual organization. We'll handle the direction right now, and it's in events that are already existing. When I'm pressing the left key or the right key. When I'm pressing the left key, I will want to set the player dir instance variable value to 1. That's just a value that I've decided on. Also, I hold down the Control key, select the action, drag drop it, it duplicates it, and I can modify it to be 0 when we are pressing to the right. And I had an event to check the dire value. So when it's 0, it's going to the right. I want the player anim object to not be mirrored, because in construct 0, the angle 0 on not mirrored is facing to the right. I can select the event, again hold down the control key, drag, drop, modify the values 1, and when it's 1, it is mirrored. If I do a preview right now, you can see that my character is moving and is following the direction that I'm going in. Nevertheless, we do have an endless walk animation. So let's deal with that. When our player object, and especially its platform behavior, is moving, and I want to add several conditions to that event. So I can do so by right-clicking, add another condition. And I want to also make sure that the platform behavior for the player object is on the floor. And at last, another condition. So this time I'm pressing the C key on my keyboard. It's the shortcut. And I want to make sure what animation the player anim object is playing currently, and make sure especially that it is not playing the walk animation. Right now the condition is to make sure that the animation walk is being played. We select the condition, right click, invert. Now we're making sure that the animation walk is not being displayed. Add an action, and so when my platform is moving, it is on the floor and it is not displaying the walk animation, I actually want to set the animation to walk and display this animation. Now I'm duplicating the event, as we have seen. This time I want to make sure it is not moving. And so the animation to be displayed, or that it's not displayed at the moment, is the idle animation when it's not moving. And with a test, the character is idle, the character is walking, and when I'm releasing the key, it's displaying the idle animation. Now we will end up with the jump and fall animations. We will want to check when our platform object is jumping, and selecting just a condition, duplicating it as well, and just making sure that the jump animation is not playing at the moment, and also that the ascend animation is not being played. Then I just want to play the jump animation. If you remember, when we've imported the jump animation, I told you at the end of the jump animation, I want to display the ascend animation as a continuity for the movement. To do so, we go into the player anim, unfinished, jump, and we set the animation to ascend. And finally, when the player platform is falling and that the player anim object is not displaying the fall animation, I set the animation to fall. And now when I'm jumping, I do have a continuity of movement, and I do have also the fall when I'm falling. And so this is how you import animations within Construct 3 and apply events to display the animation accordingly to the state of your character.